Hey everybody, welcome back into the WSAZ Now studio. My name is Joseph Payton. This is our third episode of 2026, third episode of the month of January, so we're moving right along, getting back in the swing of things. We have Keith Morehouse joining us today. No Jimmy Tracy. Prayers for Jimmy. We'll get him back up here soon enough. But Keith, we're going to be talking Marshall hoops. We're going to be talking, what else? We got some college football portal off-season stuff, maybe some bracketology action, the Pittsburgh Steelers. We don't often talk pro football up here. So.
I mean, it'll be a potpourri of items.
Yes, it'll be. I like that. That's a good word.
Mm-hmm.
I actually just discovered what that word meant within the last 3 or 4 years.
You just looked it up?
One of my friends mentioned it, and I wasn't sure what that was. And I remember my mom being like, "You don't know what that is?"
What was the definition? I know what it means, but what did the Webster's say?
Well, it's the way I understand it. It's like a bowl of what appears to be like fake flowers that smell really good.
Okay, I'll look it up while you do research, and we'll get through this.
You want me to look up potpourri?
No, I'm looking it up because there has to be it's a fragrant mixture of dried natural plant materials. Okay.
But listen, that's close to what I just said.
Metaphorically, a miscellaneous collection of medley of things. Okay, it's a French term, hearty stew, putrid pot. There we go.
Putrid doesn't sound good at all.
Well, that's French. That's what it says, putrid pot.
All right, well, I'm glad we could clear that up.
Anytime we can get to the etymology of words, it's a good day.
You have quite the vocabulary. You throw out words all the time up here that I'm like, you know what? Lock that away. Bring that out.
One of my favorite classes ever was, one of the textbooks was, I always look up the word egregious. And I think I still have it somewhere.
Yeah.
Just a giant collection of giant words, just for fun.
Hey, I like it.
Okay.
That's why you are who you are.
Oh, yeah. I'm something, but whatever.
You want to start with the Marshall women's basketball team? I mean, I guess that is what you have to start with. They are kind of the lead story here as of late. Not to disparage the men's team, because we are going to talk about them coming off a loss. They are playing some good basketball, though. But the women's team, best start to the season in, almost 40 years. I guess it would be 40 years, right?
86, 87 season, I guess.
Remember that year?
I do, but I can't remember what their record was. That obviously it was stellar. Judy Southard was the coach back then.
Okay.
I believe with the Herd. What they've done though is just been pretty phenomenal. That 15-3, 6-0. They have this penchant for getting behind in games, in every conference game, and then in the fourth quarter, just coming back and taking charge. And that's good, but I'm sure Julie folks would like them to not make them as dramatic as they've been. But they've got some players who kind of have that refuse to lose mentality. You had Meredith Mayer and Payton Ilderton up here the other day, and which kudos to them for doing that. And I've got a lot of feedback from people that just watch it. And you get to what's your favorite place to eat? You get to see these student athletes in a different framework instead of just talking about the game, which I think is very cool. But Payton Ilderton was just lights out in that Coastal Carolina game. She was down in Conway. She was in Huntington. You and I.
She won't be getting a key to the city down there.
She ain't going to the Coastal Carolina Hall of Fame by any chance.
Maybe the Villain Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the Villain. They got a dartboard of her. But she's just been really good. They were trailed by 11 against ODU, and Tamaya Lewis-Utsi had 33. They trailed by 7 against Coastal, and then Payton Ilderton had 11 points in the fourth quarter, and they outscored them, by 11 in the fourth quarter to go ahead and take control of that game. So whatever it is that makes them wake up at the end of games, and this, of course, all without Olivia Olson, who's their freshman phenom, who had 26 against JMU in the first game in Huntington when they beat them in overtime, and she's out with an injury. So they have this knack for being able to pull games out. You don't want to do that all the time, and you'd rather put those away quicker if you can. But they've got a little 4-game road streak. It's going to be tough for them, so we'll see how they do with that.
If my math serves me correctly, I believe the 2 games last week where they had to come from behind and win these games and really get it done in the fourth quarter, they outscored opponents 48-27 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So like you said, something wakes them up late, and a 6-point deficit turns into a 6-point lead, and then they're winning it at the free throw line.
Yeah, and then they go to JMU, and when they beat JMU in Huntington, that broke JMU's 21-game win streak in conference play. And JMU's the reigning champion, and they are one of the standard bearers in the Sun Belt in women's basketball and men's for that part of it. But it's going to be a tough game in Harrisonburg, and they know that. But they've been on a nice run, and anytime you can get out to an undefeated start after 6 games in any league, men or women in America in college basketball, you're doing something right.
Yeah, and JMU, I know that they're certainly talented. Preseason player of the year, and I believe it's Payton McDaniel, correct? And then they were the preseason conference favorite. But here they are, 500 in league play right now, so they haven't really got off to the start that they hoped for. And losing a second one to Marshall is certainly not what they want to do, but that's what they're staring down the barrel of now.
Yeah, and they've just, like we said, they've just been able to rise up, and when somebody's not having a good day, somebody else steps up. And they've had players. Nakia Chesterfield had a great game the other day. She came on, and if you're losing an Olivia Olson, or maybe Lewis Utsi isn't scoring at a prodigious amount like she normally does, other players take up the slack, and that's what they've been doing. And Meredith Mayer, of course, hit a key 3 in that game, that late game situation against Coastal. So I think they just they have this feeling, and whenever you can get this, and however coaches impart this on their players, you should bottle it up and sell it to make them confident enough to win in late game situations. Because once you do that once and twice, first of all, you think you're going to come back and win, and so does your opponent. So that gets in their head as well.
Lewis Utsi, I feel like, is a player that didn't get a lot of preseason pub. She's one of the best players in this league. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and what she gives them is that ability to take it and go get her own. And they didn't necessarily have that last year. Somebody could go off the bounce, take it inside, pressure the players. If she gets a step on her defender, then the bigs have to help. And she's been phenomenal. Like we said, she had 33 against ODU, and she's been phenomenal. Virginia Commonwealth transfer, a real key part of this team, and gives them an element they didn't have a season ago.
Yeah. So just a reminder, that's JMU on Thursday and ODU on Saturday, both these games on the road. And then they've got 2 more on the road after that. So this is a tough stretch in conference on the road. You've got this win streak that you certainly want to protect, but you really got to take these things one game at a time, because in any league on the road, it's tough to win.
Yeah, and you don't start looking ahead. Even let's say they don't win one, or they drop 2. Then you got to go get the next 2, or however you can't look ahead and say. And coaches don't like to do this anyway. We'd like to come out of here 3-1 or 4-0. Of course, you'd want to, but you're right. You have to focus on each game, and you got to play it like it's a brand new season. So they've got a tough task here and a little road trip here up ahead.
I know they're fired up for the JMU game. I asked Peyton and Meredith, is there a game or a win that sticks out up to this point? And Meredith mentioned beating JMU that first time, because she was like, like everybody else, we heard how good JMU was supposed to be, and they heard that too, and they had something to prove. So now you got to go to their place, get it done. We will see.
Yep.
All right, Keith, let's move on to the men's. We'll bring up the men's lower third there. They just finished up a little bit of a road trip. Ended it on a lower note, but they were able to get one of them, and they're back home for, I believe, 4 straight home games, right? So
right.
that will be comforting for them to get back home. What have you made of what the men's team was able to do last week?
Well, they were on a 4-game win streak, and they beat JMU in Harrisonburg. That's not easy either. 66-64, and Noah Ochuti had 16 points. They were able to secure that first game, and anybody will tell you, even in the NBA, that second game of a road trip is usually the tougher one, just from a wear and tear standpoint, rest, travel, and all that. And they had Georgia State down 12 in that second half. And I think every one of them, we talked to Corny Jackson this week and Wyatt Fricks, and both of them said that was one that got away. And Corny emphasized, look, it wasn't necessarily something that we slowed down the game or tried to sit on a lead. He said basically his players fouled too much. They put too many players on the free throw line. Free points, clock stopped. You're going to come back, and that's exactly what Georgia State did. So it looks like a bad loss, but to a person, that was one the Herd thought they should have gotten. And so, lesson learned. And like you say, now you got to go serve on your home court. Theoretically, you'd like to get them all. I mean, it's hard to go 4 in a row in the league, home or away. But they've been playing some pretty good basketball. Just let it drop in Atlanta on Saturday.
You look at the league standings and you look at these next 4 home games, these are teams that, as of right now, as we sit here recording this, are in the bottom half of the pack in the league. And Marshall's above all of them, kind of in the middle, but more towards the top. So like you said, you'd like to get all of them, but you can't take these games for granted, or any opponent, because at any moment somebody could go crazy and you're in a dogfight.
Yeah, and this is what coaches stress all the time. When you're on the road, the smallest mistake is magnified. So they had a late game situation where Wyatt Fricks had a big dunk And then they come back, and Landon Joseph, the freshman, is kind of celebrating with, well, he got teed up. So, they get the free throws, the ball, they score. All of a sudden, man, that they start to believe. And then there was also a late game situation where Wyatt Fricks was called for goaltending. I saw the game and the replay. It didn't look like goaltending to me, but they didn't look at it. So there you go. There's another opportunity. And then you put those guys on the foul line. So all that combination together signifies that you're going to have a tough time closing it out on the road. And that's what they did. But you gotta forget those games, win or lose, because in conference play they go rat-a-tat-tat right at you. They keep coming.
So those next four are Coastal, JMU, Louisiana Monroe, and South Alabama, all at the CAM. So, like I said, that's way more comforting than being on the road.
Oh, no. I even asked Coach about that.
Now.
I said, forget about the games. Just the travel where you're just sleeping in your own bed and you got your own routine, and the Henderson Center's right down the street and you can go to class and all that stuff. It helps and it makes it more comfortable. And not to mention, you're just better in your own gym. Everybody is.
Well, we certainly hone in on Marshall hoops around here, but of course we've got other fan bases that tune in and people that live in this area. So whether it's Ohio State, Kentucky, WVU, Ohio, when I spit those names out at you, tell me what comes to mind. I know the Bobcats are playing really, really well after a start that was, 1-6 in the year, and they've won, I think, 9 of their last 10. So they're playing really, really well. These other teams, certainly not locks to make the NCAA tournament. They're going to need to win some big games to keep their season alive late.
I'm watching, speaking of Ohio, we'll start, Jeff Bowles got them up at 10-7, now second place in the MAC, 5-game win streak. And like you said, they've won, they're on a little roll, 9-10.
Yeah.
I watched an early season game, and it did not look like Ohio basketball. But, and I should know better. Everybody should know better. What they do in late November and December, any team, isn't what they're going to look like in February and March. So he's got them playing well at the right time. And in that MAC, except for Miami, which is out there streaking to 17-0.
17-0 right now.
Yeah, incredible run by the Redhawks. They're right there. And when they get to the tournament, they've demonstrated they can do some damage in Cleveland. So good for Bowlesy to have them playing well. And Ohio State, I was just thinking yesterday, Sunday when I was working, I said, what in the world is Ohio State going out to Seattle to play Washington in a conference game? And they lost. I mean, nothing against Washington. I'm just saying, what are we doing here? I mean, we got to get some common sense.
How long of a flight is that out there?
Oh, it's to Washington
3-4 hours?
State. It's more than that. It's probably a 5-hour flight from Columbus.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And guess what? You have a chemistry exam the next morning in Columbus.
Oh, by the way, yeah. So they're 11-5. Tough league.
Yeah.
But they can keep getting this thing going, and you win some big games in that league, just like the SEC or the Big 12, which we're going to talk about. Then all of a sudden your RPI goes up, and Joe Lenardi starts mentioning a little bit more. Mm-hmm. These teams all have a good chance to try to make it into March Madness.
Ohio State has a way about them where they're either going to win by 5 or lose by 5.
Mm-hmm.
They never get blown out hardly, but they also never blow anybody out.
Yeah.
They're just good enough to compete, and these things get won or lost in the last 8 minutes of the game. The one guy that they do have working for him is Bruce Thornton.
Yeah.
That guy's hitting shots; they can beat anybody.
He's a monster, man. He's their go-to guy, and the game before Washington, I believe they played Nebraska, which was coming in number 8 in the country or something. So the Big Ten is well represented, and Kentucky's coming into this week with 2 road games, LSU and Tennessee. But they finally had that kind of SEC breakout game everybody'd been waiting for to beat Mississippi State 92-68, and a lot of the fans could kind of exhale because the game before, the loss to Missouri, I mean, there's a lot of people piling on right now. And then they just find out, Mark Pope on his radio show said Jalen Lowe's out for the season.
Yeah.
And he was one of their guys that they were counting on. He had some shoulder injury problems. 3 times, I think, he was out with the separated shoulder. So they just shut him down. They're going to do season-ending surgery, and hopefully he gets a medical red shirt. But that's a big blow to them. He's a talented guy.
Yeah. I know it's what he signed up for, but as a former player, this has to be hard on Mark Pope to try to right the ship of your alma mater, and you've got this legacy as a player.
Yeah.
Now that people start to feel a different way about you for a different reason, it's got to just feel weird coming at it from all angles.
You have to have a certain kind of exoskeleton to take all the stuff you have to take as head coach at Kentucky, similar to Ohio State in football. I mean, their fans expect more. Mm-hmm. They demand more. He's coming off a team that he took to the Sweet 16, which was, by most accounts, a great coaching job. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he's gotten dumber. They've just gotten into some situations this year where they've lost some tough games. They had played a really tough schedule to start out, and we're looking for some some marquee wins, and they've just struggled in that department. Tough week on the road this week, but he said the other day, getting better, and like we just talked about, it's a long conference season, so game by game improve and see where you stack up at the end.
And Kentucky's always one of those teams that even if they're having a little bit of a down year relative to usual Kentucky in the regular season, they'll slide in there as an 8, 9, 10, 11, and you're like, oh, boy, they're in our region.
Yeah,
not good.
And no matter where they play the conference tournament, their fans will fill the arena. So let's pump the brakes on the criticism of Pope, and I'm not saying he's above criticism, but it's early. Let's see how they do. And then we look at the Mountaineers coming off a huge win at home against Kansas. That's the marquee win they had been looking for. And they really dominated that second half. I think outscored them by 12. Kansas had a 4-point lead at halftime on a miracle 3. But good for Ross Hodge and that team. They're coming along a little bit. And once you get one of those, now, as we speak, last night they played at Houston. Mm-hmm. So they go from number 22 to number 7 Houston. That Big 12, Arizona's number 1. BYU's ranked. Iowa State's number 2. They already played West Virginia and beat them. That is a monster league. So you're going to go through the gauntlet just playing the guys you play every week in the Big 12, and so to get a win like that can kind of steal you for the run down into February and March.
The resume builders are built into your schedule. You just got to make sure you grab a couple of them on your way out.
Absolutely,
for sure.
And some big ones. And if you get some big ones, and you let's say you win at home and lose on the road, but you pick up a couple of monster wins, you can get yourself in there, depending on what you do in the conference tournament. Sure. But like I said, we're looking at 11-5 Ohio State, Kentucky 10-6, West Virginia 11-5, and Ohio's 10-7. Marshall, I think, is 11-6. So you can separate yourself with some key wins in January, and it's going to be fun to watch how this all shakes out for the end of the season.
OU and Miami play last game of the regular season. If that is going to decide the MAC, somebody's going to have to go up to Athens, I believe.
I believe so. And we will see Marshall and Huntington as the Red Hawks are coming here.
That's right.
In the MAC Sun Belt Challenge.
I looked on the schedule. It said TBD. So do we know when that is?
I think I remember the date. It's in February, I believe, but I can't remember the exact date. But that's a heck of a matchup.
Yeah, that's
to get two teams that used to be rivals in the MAC.
Oh, yeah.
And if Miami's still rolling at that time, that'll be a fun one.
I wondered because I saw that on the schedule, but it didn't really give you a date and time, and I was like, and I'm talking ESPN, maybe Marshall.
Stand by. I'll look it up.
But watch Marshall be the team that ends the streak.
You think they're going to win that many?
Into existence.
I just kind of think
it. I'm just saying.
I know it's going to be hard for Miami to keep winning in that league, having to hit the road.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think of the last time Miami had a team like this. I feel like in recent years you've seen the Toledos and Kent States be pretty good at basketball. I remember Central Michigan a few years back had Marcus Keene who lit it up. Ohio's won the conference tournament a time or two.
We don't have to go back to the Wally Zerbiak days, do we?
That's what I was about to say. Are we talking Wally Zerbiak, Ron Harper?
Man, I was calling games in the MAC with Marshall and seeing some of those Miami teams, and they were so good. Bonzi Wells at Ball State. Yep. Yikes. It's February 7th.
Great. Well,
there you go.
We'll probably all be at that one.
That should be fun. It's Cam Henderson Center. Give me a game time.
And what'd you say this
4 p.m.
Called?
It's the MAC Sun Belt Challenge.
The MAC Sun Belt Challenge.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's good to see those teams play, interleague games against teams you don't ordinarily see.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yep.
You want to talk a little bit of Marshall football? Of course, as we've mentioned previously, it's never the off season, but technically it is.
What day is today? The 13th? I guess the portal closes in 3 days, right? Maybe.
Unless you're Indiana or Miami.
Yeah, right.
Then it'll be open for you at least probably through the 24th.
Next week after that.
They get 5 days after their last game.
Yeah, their outstanding kicker. I never did. We should have given him a great nickname with Guinness or something. But anyway,
right.
Lurkin Quinn, who hit a 55-yarder. I know he broke the single-season field goal record at Marshall with 21. Is headed to Alabama. So
we'll see him, won't we?
The rising tide, is going to pay him some money, and good for him. We all knew that watching him this season, this guy, they're coming after him because field goal kickers are hard to come by. Ohio State fans know this. You got to have a good one, and Quinn's great. So he'll be at Alabama, and the punter Nathan Totten originally committed to Virginia Tech. He's from Russell, of course. Did a great job for Marshall this year, and hey, man, it's where the game is. It's not good for fans, but it's good for the players and good for some programs, I guess.
Kind of made you wonder when all of a sudden Cooper Heimbach committed to Marshall, and you said, okay, well, what does that room look like of the specialists?
I think we knew right then because I mean, as good as Cooper is, he wants to play right away, and now it looks like he will play right away.
Yeah,
maybe both. I don't know.
How about commitments in the transfer portal? What are we looking at here? I guess since the last time.
Some of the guys that they've gotten.
Yes.
Yeah, they've gotten some defensive line help, a wide receiver from Power 5 program. Maybe Carolina. Culliver, I think is his name.
It's hard to keep up with.
It really is.
On visits, you're waiting to hear from them. Okay, are they going to commit or are they not?
And honestly, on the air, and maybe I'm wrong, unless it's a local guy, I'm not doing who's transferring out and who's transferring in. I just think it's and it's not through some stand I'm taking. I just think it's so discombobulated and it just confuses people. And once they get their roster set, they'll get their roster set. The local guys we do know, Robbie Martin is coming back to Marshall.
Yeah, he's a local name that people certainly know.
Yeah, he was the highest recruited athlete in West Virginia his senior year from Huntington. Mm-hmm. So he's coming. And then Curtis Jones Jr. at West Virginia, who was a huge player this year for the Mountaineers when they needed them in the backfield, when they had a bunch of depth gone. Jaheim White was injured. Now he's transferred to North Texas. Yep. But they brought Jones in. He scored 3 touchdowns and also played linebacker. So he's versatile. I mean, we knew that. His dad was a great player at Marshall. And so he hasn't said yet, at least what I know of, where he's going. But he's heading out, and he's gonna be moving on. So
sometimes you even feel weird mentioning that a guy has hit the portal because it doesn't mean he's going to be gone.
Or
they could be retained even still.
Yes.
Sometimes they dip their toe in the water. I mean, it's an open market. See how much you're worth relative to the rest of the country, and then sometimes they end up coming back to where they were.
Yeah, and don't underestimate the power and the pressure they get from other teams. They could say, I'm staying, coach, I'm here with you. And in the meantime, they get some agent calling them saying, hey, we'll give you this much. How much are they giving you? We'll give you this much. I mean, that's still happening right now, and it'll happen all the way up till the end of the portal.
Yep. I've been following the Ohio State stuff, too, and it's like, oh, this guy's crystal balled here. But then they're like, now reports this morning say he's staying in Columbus, and
is it not
it's
crazy?
A mess to try and figure out where these guys are going to go.
I don't know where it all ends. It's like we're in a carnival ride, and the dude that operates the ride just went to smoke, and so the ride just keeps going. Yep. Hey, can you all stop this thing?
Yep. Somebody press the button, sneak through the line.
Where's Homer at the controls? But no, I don't know where it ends. But it just seems like a little bit of lunacy. I'm not against player movement, certainly not against players making money. But this is not a subscription for long-term viability. I don't think.
Yeah. At some point, they will reel it in. It's just a matter of how bad does it get before some action's taken.
Well, you hear coaches complain all the time. And again, I'm not feeling sorry for coaches who make millions of dollars themselves.
Sure.
But they have some valid points about what are we doing here? Not just for the student athlete, but like the portal, right? Closes the 16th. Well, a lot of schools are already back in school semester. Where are you supposed to go to? Where are you supposed to sign up for classes?
Marshall has started this week.
I think most schools that are on semester systems are starting this week. Yeah. Then you got some that started the quarters, like Ohio and some others. But yeah, man, I don't know what you do. I don't know.
Well, no one's figured it out yet. So
I guess you see what happens in February, right?
Well, let's talk a league we don't often talk about in here, and it's one with a little more structure than college football. You can't just leave or be hired and fired just whenever.
Right.
I guess there are some rules, but Mike Tomlin steps down as the Steelers head coach. He'd been there for 19 seasons, was the longest tenured head coach in the NFL, and this doesn't happen very often. We've seen more presidents in our lifetime than Steelers head coach. I mean, this is kind of where they're at in Pittsburgh. They like to win ball games, and if you win, you can hang around for a while. So what did this catch you by surprise? You just feel like this was kind of inevitable the way things were going?
A little bit by surprise too, because like you said, Pittsburgh is a different kind of franchise that values hard work, loyalty, dedication. The fans typically love their coaches. I got a little stat here. 3 coaches since 1969, Joseph.
It's crazy.
Chuck Noll from 69 to 91. Bill Cowher, 92 to 06. Mike Tomlin, 07 to 25.
Wow.
That doesn't happen anywhere in the NFL.
When did Cowher start?
2007. No, Bill Cowher, 92.
92, okay. Because those are the only two I can recall. Is Cal or
Well, yeah,
Mike Tomlin.
you weren't even born.
A 95
Chuck Noll
over here.
Tim remembers Chuck Noll, and so do I. But point being, those guys were mainstays. Took the teams to the playoffs. Took them to Super Bowls. Tomlin won a Super Bowl. Took them to 2. The question is, nowadays, I mean, same thing with John Harbaugh. That one shocked me a little bit more than Tomlin because they've had more recent success than Pittsburgh has had. I mean, let's be honest. They've lost 7 straight playoff games. Yeah. And Pittsburgh is a proud franchise. Their fans expect to win. You know, we talk about Ohio State football and Kentucky basketball. You could put the Steelers in that same category in the NFL. They have a different standard that they think they have to meet. And while Tomlin was well-liked and did a great job, longest coach in the history without a losing season in the NFL, that's something to hang your hat on. I mean, he can take that as a point of pride, and he'll be in the Hall of Fame someday. Yep. But, you know, nowadays, franchises, colleges, heck, even high schools, everybody wants to win right now. Mm-hmm. There's no patience. I heard Aaron Rodgers going off on a rant after they lost on Monday night, you know, and just saying what happened to Harbaugh, and that people are trying to talk the same about LaFleur in Green Bay, who he played for. Like, he's a good coach, but there's a lot of Green Bay fans who say his time has come. So there's not as much patience anymore, and unfortunately, this is the upshot of what happens when you don't win at a high enough level.
Well, same question I asked him. You talk about lack of patience. What level of urgency is there amongst the Steeler fan base, like 1 to 10? I mean, you're talking about, okay, things aren't going in a direction that we'd like it to, but things aren't terrible either. This guy just won the division. Yeah. This guy just had you in the playoffs. There's a lot of places that would take that. Mm-hmm. People in Cincinnati would take that. I mean, seriously.
Cleveland would take that, right?
Now, there's not quite the championship pedigree with the Bengals as there is the Steelers. These people have seen Super Bowls.
Yes.
They've been in AFC title games and that sort of thing. So it's different. But, you know, what burden is the next head coach going to have on their shoulders to win right now? Like, you know, how long of a leash are they going to give this guy?
May have
whoever it is.
Maybe a 1-year honeymoon. Maybe. I'm serious. I think that they'll want him to almost win immediately, and they just feel like that's their birthright. A lot of that has to do with personnel. Aaron Rodgers likely is probably done. So who's going to be the next quarterback? They don't have a franchise guy ready to go.
They might be starting Will Howard next year.
Yeah, and I mean nothing against Will Howard, but you know, if you're going to be the quarterback and you're going to follow, you know, Rodgers before that, you know, Big Ben, who was, you know, and then go back to the Terry Bradshaws, and they expect their quarterback.
Cordell Stewart.
Yeah, they expect their quarterback to be marquee guys and Super Bowl champs. So the patience, you know, it will be interesting to see if they go for an established guy. If they do the old, not to say old coaches are retreads, but are they going to go get a guy who has won in the NFL that they think can win in Pittsburgh? It's going to be a really interesting coaching search, as it will be for the Ravens and for the Browns and everybody else who's looking.
The Browns on social media have been posting like coach bios of the dudes that they are interviewing. Maybe other teams do that, but they're like, hey, we're interviewing Mike McDaniel today. This is his bio.
Yeah.
They're letting you know.
At least they're being upfront.
Yeah,
right?
They're being upfront. Like, hey, we're bringing this guy in. He's a candidate. We're going to see what happens with him.
And I kind of give them credit because nowadays in the internet age, you got everybody out there spewing it anyway. Some of it's true, a lot of it's not.
Coming from
Miami. We're tracking the tail number of. So whether it's true or not, it's out there. So kudos to them for being out in front and saying, "Here's who we're talking to." So, you know, at least they give the fan base a reason to say, "Oh, okay," and you're up front with them. I like that.
I do think Tomlin, he made it difficult on them to fire him. Now, they ended up not firing him. He stepped down. That doesn't mean that he wasn't nudged a little bit or there was an understanding, but he did keep winning ball games. Yep. He did have them in the playoffs. I mean, what would they have done if they snuck by the Texans, won their next game, and now they're in the AFC title game?
Yeah.
Nothing's changed, but you've won, and now you're in a spot where you're like, well, you can't justify firing him now.
Right.
You know? Or maybe he had enough.
What if Tyler Luke makes that field goal? Is John Harbaugh still the coach of the Ravens? I'd say likely so.
Probably so.
And maybe Tomlin was gone the week before.
Yeah. Is Tomlin fired if they lose that game?
Yeah.
Versus stepping down, having made the playoffs and winning your division.
All on the hopes of a guy with kicking into the wind or a 50-yard field goal. Your livelihood hangs in the balance of these guys. It's a crazy business, but that's what they sign up for, and they make a lot of money. So he'll be fine either way, whether he coaches But whether he goes to the booth or the studio, he'll be great at whatever he wants.
He can't be that old of a guy, right?
No.
Because he was hired like in 34 years old or something. So, I mean,
So
would you see him
53, 54, whatever?
Yeah. Could you see him entertaining other gigs at some point down the road?
Oh, I would think so. I mean, he's a competitive guy. And a lot of them maybe get out from a year or so and, go to the booth, which is fun and invigorating. But coaches, man, they get that in their blood. And they feel like as long as they feel good and are physically able, and it's also a chip on their shoulder, like, oh, I didn't go out the way I wanted to go out, so I'm going to go take another job.
Fastball.
Yeah, let's see if you can sign the contract, and I'll come help you win.
I think I saw the former Cowboys coach that does TV, Garrett.
Jason Garrett.
I believe he was rumored to be interviewing for some jobs recently.
He's got a great job on NBC, on Sunday night.
We do TV. It's a great job.
I mean, nobody yells at you. They might not like one of your takes as an analyst.
It's a great rehab spot for coaches, I swear, because you're not losing games, so no one's mad at you, and you know football, so you get to talk about it. People are like, you know what? He knows what he's talking about. He should be our next head coach.
And it's
a good way to rehab your image a little bit.
As much as they study for their weekly games and what they have to know, it's still not as much as you have to work when you're the coach, and he's done that. But you know what? Like I say, if it gets in their blood and they want to coach, I mean, it's hard to tell them no.
Yep. Anything else, Keith, that you can think of in the world of sport?
Not yet. I just know that we'll be talking about baseball coming up here in a few months.
We're like 70 days away from Reds opening day. It's like 71, 72 days, something like that.
Wow.
Red Sox on Thursday at 4:10.
In Cincinnati?
In Cincinnati.
That's a great matchup.
Yeah.
You want to go?
I may be taking a PTO day to go. So.
Well, I might just credential you and you go down there and cover it.
Well, if you want to do that, talk to management.
Okay. Management. Oh, no, opening day in Cincinnati.
Yeah, opening day.
It's great.
Great, man. No expectation for the Reds this year. Their plan always is, we'll just bring back the same team and hope that they all improve their batting average by, 20, 30 points.
But some opening
plan.
Some opening day matchups are worth it, though. When the Red Sox come to town,
oh, yeah.
Come on, man.
They'll be showing, cool. What year would it have been? The 75?
75, 76, yeah. 35.
They went 7 games with Boston, and then the next year, I think, is when they swept the Yankees. Yeah. They'll be showing
75, generally regarded as one of the great World Series of all time.
Yep.
Because I was a Red Sox fan back then.
And who was old boy that was doing this?
Oh, is that
hit the home run? It won Game 6 for
Bernie Carbo? No. This was Carlton Fisk.
Is that who it was?
Yeah. Waving it fair.
Yeah, he was keeping it in play.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. I mean, what that big red machine was. Well, we talked to George Foster. Last year?
We did.
Right out front of the building.
That was pretty cool having George Foster up.
George he's a character now.
He is. That guy was cracking some jokes.
That whole team was full of characters. I was emceeing a thing that Johnny Bench was here several years ago, and you talk about a funny dude who's talented, just doing all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Man, he keeps you on your toes. But then, of course, they had Pete Rose, who we've lost a while back. But, man, the talent on that team, that lineup top to bottom.
Couldn't afford them these days.
Woo! Oh, they wouldn't all be on one team. Nope.
Not at all.
Nope.
All right, Keith, I know you've got some stuff to do. So
a little bit.
Let you,
thanks for having me.
Get back downstairs, and hopefully next week or week after that, we can have a triple team up here like we like to do.
Yeah, we'll get Jimmy back.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
So, all right.
We'll
let you get downstairs.
Thanks,
brother.
Joseph.
Appreciate it. That, my friends, was Keith Morehouse, as you know, WSAZ Sports Director. This has been WSAZ Sports Plus. And remember, as we tell you every episode, and we record these teases that run through the shows that show you how to reach us, you can scan this QR code, which will take you to WSAZ.com and or the WSAZ app. It's the same tab where all the WSAZ Sports Plus content lives. So you'll see this episode on there. You will see the previous episode with Marshall Hoops, Peyton Ilderton, and Meredith Mayer, and any other guests we've ever had on here. A lot of it is dated by this point, of course, but some of those episodes could kind of live forever because we talk more than just sports. So you'll find all of those episodes there. They're also on YouTube. They are also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. I guess that just means they're everywhere. And we try to post them on social media too. So with that said, this has been WSAZ Sports Plus. I am Joseph Payton. We'll see you same time, same place next week, Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Thanks for watching.